Hello, everyone, and welcome to Warren Thornton on Patreon, warrenthornton.com. And tonight we've got a special guest, and we're going to be talking to him in a short while. Let's have a look at this.
Warren Thornton on Patreon. The most banned news show on the planet. Do you want the truth? Ex-special forces in conflict zones around the world. The journalist with unprecedented contacts. The organizations, the wars, the scandals, and a complicit media. The people placed in power. The organizations who shape our world. And what they have in store for you.
Tell me.
The real truth. They will not tell you on mainstream media. Want the truth? Welcome home.
On tonight's show, live and interactive at 6 p.m. BST. As we said he would, Wes Streeting resigns as Starmer and Rayner supporters attack him in a desperate bid to buy time. The Burnham and Rayner factions scramble to keep Starmer temporarily, while falsely claiming Rayner has been cleared of tax fraud. They scramble desperately in a three-pronged operation, keep Starmer in place, buy time for homeless Burnham to be elected, and attack Streeting. Johnny from Cafe Revolution with his new YouTube video and Mark Breckle both talk life in Russia. The Forgotten War, the maps and who is really winning in Ukraine. How Putin and Russia are lining up for the summer offensive in the Donbass. And the European Commission clown, Kaya Kallas. The biggest Russophobe on the planet, desperate to be the negotiator with Russia, gets utterly destroyed in the European Parliamentary Chamber. And the CIA steal declassified documents on MKUltra and the Kennedy assassination, prompting the question, who is actually running America and why are they above the law? All this and more, Warren Thornton on Patreon.
If you want the truth in this world, Warren Thornton on Patreon. Let me state clearly, I did not watch Warren Thornton on Patreon.
Are you watching Warren Thornton on Patreon?
If you had watched Warren Thornton on Patreon, you would have seen this coming, sir. What in blazes?
Let me get this straight. You're going to jump a barbed wire fence to watch Warren Thornton on Patreon?
Warren Thornton on Patreon starts at 6 p.m. tonight.
I have a dream. Watch Warren Thornton on Patreon.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show.
And welcome indeed. And of course, we welcome back Mark Breckle. We'll be talking to him in a short while, and we'll be putting him on the show so that you can see he's alive and well. And we'll be playing quite a few bits and pieces from Russia. But we have to start with the things that we said were going to happen. And of course, they have. We have to start. And we'll be also hearing from Johnny Revolution, Cafe Revolution, of course. But we have to start with the fact that Wes Streeting has resigned, as we said that he would, within the next 24 hours. And that has now taken place. His letter of resignation, should we say, has not been a surprise to anyone, certainly not a surprise to us, after the trade unions earlier had dumped Keir Starmer. And of course, here's his letter. And it's basically the usual Commons letter, House of Commons letter you get when somebody decides to resign, goes on to list his reasons why he's resigning and all the rest of it. You don't need to do that, really. You just need to announce that you're going. And literally just, I would just hand in a letter and go, I'm gone. You don't need to explain millions of things. This is a letter not really for Keir Starmer. This is a letter to the country saying this is the reason why I've done it, as all these letters are. Now, on top of that, we've had quite the, shall we say, sensational thing. And of course, this is quite, shall we say, crazy. Josh Simmons has stood down. Now, it's not going to be difficult for you to work out that Josh Simmons is a huge Labour friend of Israel. He was part of Morgan Masplini's Labour Together, which helped. He was instrumental in getting rid of people such as Jeremy Corbyn and various other people. He's now standing down for the good of the country. If you believe that, I've a bridge to sell you. And of course, he is standing down so that there can be a by-election to anoint the guy with no home, which is, of course, this guy, Andy Burnham. Now, this is how bad and how rotten politics are now in this country. No, but everybody has been going, we must get behind Starmer. We must get behind Starmer. That's all been a play. Absolute nonsense. The whole idea was to keep him in place, to keep Starmer in place until they can get Andy Burnham back into the parliament so that he can run against West Streeting along with Angela Rayner. And Rayner suddenly has had her tax issue cleared up. Now, let's clear up something about Angela Rayner's tax issue. She has not been cleared of any wrongdoing whatsoever. She paid the money that she owed and the back taxes that she tried to get away with. She has now paid that money. That is now closing the case and therefore clears her should she need to run if they can't get Burnham elected. Okay? She has not been cleared of any wrongdoing. Everybody's trying to say, oh, she has, because they've dropped the case. Well, they dropped the case when the money was paid over. And of course, they will spin this, but there is no actual evidence whatsoever that says she's been cleared of any wrongdoing, just to give you a heads up. Now then, Makerfield is the place where Josh Simmons is standing down. And as you can see from this, literally they had around about a 5,000, shall we say, majority, where Josh Simmons won over the Reform candidate who was Robert Kenyon. I have a feeling that Andy Burnham might just be standing against some real heavyweights this time around in this area. Now, this area is up near Wigan, just in case you didn't know. And of course, we are rather hoping that George Galloway will run. We're hoping that Lembit Opie will run. We're hoping that Rupert Lowe will run. We hope everybody runs and stops this guy from getting in, because this is about the most, how can I put this, idiotic and brutal. And Mark Breckle, of course, comes from the Manchester area, so he'll have a vested interest in this as well. We'll talk to him about that in a short while. This is quite cynical. They don't want Keir Starmer, but they don't want Streeting either. The left of the party don't want Streeting either. So they've convinced someone to stand down who's going to get a peerage and well taken care of. Of course, he's going to get. He's not standing down for the good of the country or the party. He's standing down because the left, want to defeat the right of the party, which is the Blairites, which is West Streeting, the Mandelson, all that sort of people. And of course, they want to elect this guy. And of course, they want to get him into Parliament they want Andy Burnham like he's God down from heaven or something. Andy Burnham he has a good track record as a mayor. He doesn't have a good track record as a minister, trust me. Go and check it up. He got fired. So this guy, of course, this will be business as usual. Andy Burnham is absolutely steeped in Israel. And the last thing we want in the Parliament is another guy who is owned by Israel. So I say to George Galloway, quite openly, I say to Lembit Opie, and I say to, of course, Mr. Lowe, go and run against this guy. Go and run against this guy. Because the Rupert Lowe, Lembit, I know, is not mired. George, I know, is not mired in Israel money. Go and stand against this guy, because this can't be allowed to happen. If this guy gets in, then they'll anoint him, and then they'll run it. It'll be a straight runoff, and Starmer will be forced to fall on his sword. Starmer is a dead duck no matter what. Chris is from the Workers' Party, of course, of Great Britain. Hi, Chris. How are you?
Hey, Warren, you all right?
Yeah, absolutely fine. What do you make of the news of Mr. Josh Simons stepping down?
I think because there was talk about a different constituency earlier in the day. Now, George, obviously, I don't know what George is thinking, but he did say that he would like to stand, or the party we will stand. That was in a different constituency. But this constituency looks quite juicy. I've just looked it up. It's 65% Brexit. And we're a Brexit party.
Yes.
So that's quite a juicy thing. George might like it. He might certainly be interested with it. And obviously he's in exile at the minute because he was detained uh, under the basically armed police gunpoint. He was detained
Yeah.
and questioned, him and his wife, for a collective 9 hours. And because of that, his wife just had enough. She wanted to go. I think that's the reason anyway. And obviously, he doesn't want his good wife to be feel uncomfortable in the country.
Gaia. Yeah.
So, I mean, this could be, I mean, potentially, if he's going to come back, he can come back. And what they're going to do? Are they going to arrest and detain him
Yeah,
when he comes
exactly.
back?
I mean, Chris, what a
And I
headline for
think
the
there's a
Workers'
lot of mileage when he does come back, and if they do, there'll be a lot of interest in what happens if he is a candidate.
Yes.
What are the establishment going to do if he
They can't
rocks up
arrest him
on
at
the
the
border?
airport, Chris. If they
Well,
arrest him
I
at the
mean,
airport, the people will go, "What? You're arresting people who want to stand in a
yeah,
by."
and he's got a voice, and he's got a very strong and a very good
Yes.
voice, one of the best orators of our time. And if he is elected in Parliament, that's going to be a hell of a voice against the establishment. And
Yeah.
you've got parliamentary privilege, of course. So he can say pretty much what the hell he wants. And if they try to cause any problems, well, it's going to be out there.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
Everyone will be able to see it.
Here's the thing, Chris. If he does come back, because they're going to get Andy Burnham to run, and they're arranging this so Andy Burnham can run, how bad will it look if they try to stop him at the airport from coming into the country so he can run in the by-election?
Well, absolutely. I mean, if he's a candidate and he's got his papers in and he's an official candidate, how is that going to look? How can they explain away that? Because they ignore George. He hasn't been on the BBC for 15 years or something because they don't invite him on anymore. Did all the Sky News. Unfortunately, if anybody hasn't seen it, have a look at the Sky News interview with him. I forget what his name was, the journalist, but he absolutely ripped them a new one because he was all about wishing son at this, wishing son at that. So do watch that on the YouTube. It's a classic. But yeah, it'll be interesting, wouldn't it? It'll be interesting, but it's up to George what he wants to do.
Well, I hope people run against him, because if he's allowed to get in, that would be quite awful. And of course, the trade unions have dumped Starmer as well. That was quite. I wasn't quite expecting that, I've got to say. But they've dumped Starmer, and of course, was streeting, and we said that he would resign. We said that he would resign within 24 hours. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to mount a challenge ever. And that's exactly what has happened, Chris. The thing I am saying here is this can't be allowed to happen where Burnham gets in. I think every single party who believes in democracy should throw their best candidate at it, and they should literally give Burnham a complete and utter drubbing one way or the other, because that, for me, is this is manipulation on a ridiculous scale, Chris, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, they're absolutely desperate, aren't they? They really
Yeah.
are. They really are desperate, and it's going to be interesting who stands. I mean, we did the Greens are solid in Denton and Gorton. Hopefully they'll give us a solid if they do stand, whoever stands for us, because they do always won. So it'll be quite interesting to see what happens, and yeah, it's going to be a hell of a heavyweight tussle if indeed George is involved and any other kind of heavyweights are involved.
Yeah, I think some heavyweight has got to stand against him, whether that be a reform candidate, whether it be George, whether it be someone like Lembit Opik, or whether it indeed be someone like Rupert Lowe. But we certainly cannot have Labour doing what they're trying to do, and that needs to be put a stop. Would you agree that needs to be put a stop to?
Yeah, you can't just do this kind of thing and put people out the pasture. You know, give them a backhander basically. There's so much sleaze going on with Parliament and with the House of Lords, which we want to abolish. But yeah, it's just another aspect of the total shit show that you've got in Parliament in both houses.
Yeah, not good. Thank you very much for that, Chris. And
No
of course, as I say, we'll be keeping a real eye on that. And of course, don't forget on Saturday, we're going to have somebody on, and of course, he's going to be talking to us very, very carefully about everything that has been done in the NHS and everything that has happened in the NHS that has caused all sorts of problems. And of course, we will be digging into that in a great deal. So we've got a special program on Sunday. On Saturday. So please make sure you come across for that. It's going to be, I think, one of the better. It will be with a gentleman called Dr. Bob Gill, and we'll be playing the video before that. Just exactly what's been done to the NHS by West Streeting and the Labour government. Nillis.
Yeah, what time on Saturday will it be?
6 p.m. normal.
All right. Yeah.
Normal. We won't change the time, because if we change the time, everybody sort of go, oh, well, I'm not sure if I'm free. So if we make it 6 p.m., 6 p.m. we'll be showing the video. 7 p.m. we'll be talking to Dr. Bob Gill, who has put all this together. Gordon.
I'll be curious to hear what you've got to say about the NHS, because I work there. So I've worked here for 20 years. I've seen lots of changes.
Yeah. Well, get ready for it, Gordon, because it's probably not going to be pretty, buddy.
Definitely not. I'm talking to the inside.
But you wouldn't expect us to be anything else. We'll be doing that. And of course, as we've said, we think Wes Streeting is going to be the new Prime Minister. That doesn't, and of course, there are people in here that have had a bob or two on it. That doesn't stop us from doing our job and slaughtering him for doing a bad job. So that's exactly what we will be doing. And I think we have invited Wes Streeting on. Don't hold your breath on that. But we do the truth here. That's it. End of story. So let's get that out of the way before we even start. Now, we're going to show you, we're going to speak to Mark after we've shown you the video from Johnny Cafe Revolution. Then we're going to show you Mark's. Then we're going to get into what is going on or what is about to happen in Russia. And we're going to tell you what's going to happen throughout the entire summer. So you're going to have it right at your fingertips, where they're going to go, where they're going to push, what they're going to do, and everything else. But let's have a look. This is Johnny, and if you've never met him, of course, Johnny is an independent journalist. He's called Cafe Revolution. Please go and have a look at him on, of course, YouTube. He's also got a Telegram channel called Cafe Revolution, and he's very kindly said that we can play his video. Now, this is about a 35-minute look around Bryansk. And, of course, when we're done with that, we're then going to invite Mark Breckle on. We're going to play his video, and hopefully, with a bit of luck, he'll be able to come on camera and tell you about Russia as well, and we'll have a chat to Mark about that. So make yourself a cup of coffee, sit back, and watch this slice of life from Russia. And people who are watching the show for the first time, or you're watching it and you don't know what goes on in Russia, the next two people we're about to talk to are people who have been there, who can literally tell you everything that's going on. Let's have a look.
So, today we arrive in Berdyansk. It's in Zaporozhye. It's a beautiful place by the Azov Sea. This is my attempt to show you more and more what the life is like in the new territories. And Berdyansk is in one of the new territories, Zaporozhye. It's I don't actually know what it is. I want to discover it together with you and report to you. Basically report to you what you will never see in mainstream media. This will never happen on CNN, BBC, MSM, ABC. I'm here as an eyewitness reporter and I want to show you what's happening here. And yeah, let's share this together. So, Berdyansk actually, when it was taken over without a shot. It was a very peaceful takeover. Yes, there has been during the time a couple of times that Ukraine fired rockets on Berdyansk since, but generally the city is, it doesn't look damaged at all. It doesn't have any of the type of damage that you would see in Donetsk, of course not in Mariupol and in other part of the territories. So it's yeah, it's good for you to see. It's good for me also to see just another aspect of what it looks like for these four territories that have decided to join Russia. They've decided to join Russia, they've held their referendums, and they've done this all voluntarily. What people have to understand is that for a lot of the population, they don't feel that they've been liberated by Russia. They don't feel that they've come to Russia. They feel that they've come back home. That's what they feel. Maybe not everybody, but a large percentage of the population, they just feel they've come back home. And like the person who's been my escort and guide in Berdyansk said to me, for the Ukrainian commanders, for the Ukrainian military, these people are not Ukrainians, they're Russian. And for themselves, they're also Russians, so that's why they see themselves as an enemy. So it's basically Donetsk and Lugansk is completely coming home, but Zaporozhye and Kherson, a large percentage feel, yeah, finally we're back home again. Berdyansk looks like a typical medium-sized Russian city, Russian town, something between a town and a city. It has the typical square, the typical center, and I'm sure that we will see Mr. Lenin, like in every Russian city. Lenin is well and alive in Russia. I still haven't been to any Russian city that Lenin is not somewhere in the main square. This looks to me very much like Rodina Mata, the Motherland Calling, the statue that I have seen in Stalingrad, Volgograd. And yeah, this is the city hall. The interesting thing is that when you walk around Berdyansk and other places, even in Donetsk, the local population, Russia hasn't destroyed the statues of the Ukrainian poets, of Ukrainian people. They haven't destroyed it. While in Ukraine, all statues resembling anything Russian have been totally destroyed, like Pushkin and others, completely destroyed. And you can see here, I mean, it's a really beautiful walking street here. It's a really elegant town. I mean, it's a seaside town. It's really gorgeous. But what I want to do now is find people to talk to. No political. I want to know how is the life. Only what I want to know.
So put some makeup.
Huh? You want more makeup? She wants to do this.
Девочки такие, девочки.
This is typical русский женщина. Typical русский женщина. They don't want anybody to see them not perfect. You know? What's your dream for the future?
For the future.
What's your dream?
Stay alive. Die. For example.
Yeah, so classic Russian dark humor. Classic Russian dark humor. Some message from Russia.
Message from Russia?
Yeah. You know, from Russia with love.
Yeah, come here.
Yeah.
It's really a nice place with beautiful sea, beautiful views.
Oh, you speak also very good English. Why are you too shy to speak?
50-50 my English.
But 50-50 is good. You want coffee? I have too much coffee today. I already had coffee today.
She said, test my coffee.
Shoot. Okay, small one. So, Malinka. Okay, this not Malinka. I will three coffee today I have already. You know, everybody wants to do coffee. Yeah, okay. Hi, they're all lazy. You're this. Okay, small. There's very beautiful shop here. You see, I mean, there's a specialty coffee and tea. Coffee, tea, chocolate.
Не знаю, родственница, наверное, да? Девочка.
Нет, тут все работают.
В основном все в джинсах. Обычно всякая. Да. Вот, она понимает, что я думаю, я вам даже особо-то не нужен.
Что не нужно, я думаю, нормально?
Да, отлично, все прекрасно. Coffee you prefer?
No, she told me to come to taste, so give me small taste.
Maybe you like this coffee?
Okay, very good small, yes, but small.
Yes,
Espresso. Today after I will do like this.
Sugar.
Everybody, no sugar.
Oh, no sugar. Milk no.
Без сахара, без молока.
Так, сколько?
I manage.
Бобол здесь. А у тебя же не
So you see some hospitality, they're just inviting everywhere for coffee. In the evening, people invite me for samagon. Russian hospitality. How is life for young people here?
Как живется здесь молодым людям?
Not bad.
Not bad. Okay. Oh, at least you say not bad. They complain that it's terrible. Some positive. We are positive girls here. They say not bad.
Просто девушку в кино, наверное, сегодня не сводили, поэтому мне не нравится.
But your Russian is not going to help. You have to only speak English now. Because this is seaside place. Very good, beautiful. Summertime now. You have Azov Sea. After. Very soon the war will finish, there will be many tourists from all over the world, you know.
But sea cold.
Huh?
Sea cold.
Today cold, but today cold, yeah, but
Maybe you want chocolate?
no. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Here I'm hot. Okay. See.
Delicious.
So I will see. I'm sure it will be очень вкусно. Let's see. But today too much coffee. Afterwards, today no sleeping after this. It's very nice coffee. Which country this coffee from?
Откуда этот кофе?
Very good. You want to taste? Very nice. Very nice coffee, really. Absolutely nice. So tasty.
Much more like tea.
Tea, okay.
It's Russian coffee.
No, it's not possible.
Look at this!
Okay, it's Russian, but coffee. I will see. This is patriotic Russian girl. Russian coffee. You know, everybody in Western country they believe Russian. They have bear in backyard. Bear. You know what bear? Medved. They think medved, vodka, balalaika, you know, this is
К сожалению, у нас нет с собой.
Good coffee.
You like wine? No?
Of course. I don't, but I don't drink now. Daytime I not drink.
With your coffee.
With wine.
Саша, прошу, и
Just,
мы идем уже.
Wow. Завтра I can be coffee with wine. I want him to remember shot.
And you like rum?
Of course.
Можно кофе вишневый, конечно, по-моему.
Thank you very much. Tomorrow we have to come because they are offering coffee with wine in morning time before we go. Okay. All these interesting things in Bryansk. What I see here, church. We will project the church after. There's a dolphinarium. I will very curious to see if there's dolphins there. Water park. Lighthouse a little bit far for today, 12 kilometers, and monument to the mosquito winter. This is a very interesting thing. Johnny is from Bryansk today. We are in the Zaporozhye still, another new territory of Russia, and this is the first day of the children's summer camp. So they are celebrating the first time in a long time they have a summer camp. And you see a beautiful Russian tradition. They are celebrating with ballet, with art, with dance, and afterwards we will try to ask them some questions.
You know, giving children some traditional values, some traditional that will help them to become more and more good human being in future. Okay.
Капитана уважаемых своих отрядов!
What's your name?
Как вас зовут?
Меня зовут Швецова Лилия Валерьевна.
Швецова
Лилия Валерьевна.
Лилия Валерьевна.
And you're director of this camp, I understand.
Да, все верно.
What can you tell us about this camp?
The camp was built in каком году?
1971
In 1971.
Okay.
на берегу Азовского моря. Да, хотел быть как Артек. И очень хорошо, что в 2022 году земли, принадлежавшие Российской Федерации, вновь вернулись на свою территорию. И Артек принял этот лагерь к себе. Почему? Потому что он хочет, чтобы новые субъекты Российской Федерации отдыхали и находились здесь. Этот лагерь Артек, он специально для новых субъектов Российской Федерации, чтобы все дети отдыхали, могли наслаждаться солнцем, морем и Артеком.
This takes me to my next question. I don't want to be political, but I have to ask you this question. In my country, in the West, they are saying the Russian soldiers are walking on the street and forcing you to be part of Russia. And this is not your choice, they are saying.
Нет, нет, это неправда. Это неправда. Вы посмотрите на счастливые лица детей, посмотрите везде. У нас никто не ходит с оружием. Все добровольно и все с любовью действительно относятся. Мы хотели, все хотели.
And what will be the activities that they will take here in general?
У нас будет 5 смен, которая будет наполнена не только море. Дети будут активно заниматься всякими образовательными программами, мероприятиями, концертами, выездными прогулками.
I'm so moved to see normal children, and I'm so moved to see the sense of community. Because in Australia, already 30% of these children will be dressed, boys will be dressed as girls, girls will be dressed as boys, and things like this.
Нет, у нас все хорошо. Дети, у нас патриотическая, да, традиционные ценности у нас в первую очередь.
It is the reason I actually came to cover all the conflicts in Russia, because I think Russia is actually holding something for the future of humanity. And I want to thank Russia for this, and I want to thank all of you for this. Because I even see how the children ran to the leaders, to the elders, with so much affection, with so much love.
Главное патриотическое воспитание. Главное то, что мы любим свою страну, свою страну.
It's very unique, and I thank you very much. Really, I thank you very much. You know, not only for this, this is something very important for humanity.
Спасибо.
Thank you so much.
As you see in the difference between Russia and Ukraine, the Ukrainian works on walls or maybe some signs.
I know. I saw it. I saw it in Melitopol. Even some of the cafes still had the signs in Ukrainian. Nobody make any balagan from it.
Yeah,
we have one restaurant names Fine Ukraina.
Я так скажу, there are even a hotel named Ukraine at the Kosa.
So this morning we are actually in a bakery in Brilliance. Okay. Can you tell me, is this the biggest bakery in Brilliance?
Можете ли вы сказать, это самая большая вообще, это самый большой хлебобулочный комбинат в Бердянске?
Да.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So this biggest bakery to supply the bread, only bread or also cakes and things like that?
Только хлеб или пирожки
нет,
там?
Пирожки нет, булочки и хлеб.
So cakes and bread.
Cake and bread, okay. Okay, let's go. Let's have a look. Okay. So we had some lovely muffins and all kinds of cakes full of cherry and the bakery. And now we're going to check how Natalie, the tough boss, is checking on her the work. You see, we don't even need to go to the factory. We can see all the factory now
on the camera.
on the camera. And also, just when we were off camera, Natalie told me an interesting story.
But Natalie, you are from Mariupol, actually. Yeah. And were you there during the terrible time, the few months of the great battle with Azov battalion?
Вы пережили эти несколько страшных месяцев, ну, когда была битва с батальоном Азов.
Some people in the West think that Azov were protecting you, and Russian army just came to conquer the city. What would you say to this? You see, there's no words even. There's no words. You can see just the eyes of this woman. There's absolutely no words about it.
Это было страшное время,
It was terrible,
которое стараюсь не вспоминать.
which she trying to forget.
Okay, I'm sorry that I bring the story again, but it's important for the Western auditory to listen to this.
Конечно, когда я проезжаю по Мариуполю, я вижу те места, в которых были страшные моменты. Они у меня отложились в памяти, и я никак не могу забыть.
But also, what I go to Mariupol a few times because it's close to Donetsk. Is a miracle what Russia is doing in Mariupol. Some of the neighborhoods in Mariupol, they look so now elegant and beautiful, like the buildings so well constructed.
Да, Мариуполь восстанавливает, он уже не тот, какой был 2 года назад. Его уже не узнать.
So here we are going now to check the bakery inside. Russians are very serious about everything. So they're also very serious about the hygiene in the factory, and we cannot walk in with our normal clothes and things like this, so there won't be any contamination of the bread and things like this. We are all dressed properly. This is it. Fatigue, battle fatigue. Nice smell of baking bread. And here, okay. And how many loaves of bread you make in one day? How many loaves of in one day? In one day, Yeah.
17 types of bread.
No, but how, in one day? 15,000 loaves of bread in one day. Okay, 6 you have. Okay.
So this is sector where bread are packing in.
I can see. These ladies, how many years they have been with the company?
Эти женщины, сколько они работали в компании?
Всю жизнь. Я 17 лет,
17 years, 20
okay.
years,
35 лет, есть всю жизнь.
55 years and
Wow.
whole life.
Okay. And we can see it's a big bakery.
Уже вышел, да, вверх.
Как этих называть?
So they're
Special
still-
for hipster.
They're still using coal here. They're using wood here. Fire.
They're using wood, yes.
Okay. I can see it. And you even see with me, I have Pavel, who is a journalism student, and he speaks both Ukrainian and Russian. And if he will speak Ukrainian, here nobody is going to punish him. Absolutely not, right? Is that correct, Pavel?
Yes, because the Russia is actually democratic country with
tolerant to other nations.
So now we have been invited to taste hot, warm sweets. I'm not going to eat so much. I'm just going to eat like this. But
Okay.
we're doing hot sweets. Pavel, is it very tasty?
It's very hot.
You are not fat, so you can eat.
No, hot.
Ah, hot, I thought fat. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to taste all of them. Some fish in the Azov, you see?
Yeah, tomatoes and ketchup and
Передав уже начал, да?
fish dried and salt. Fresh fat.
Just to give you some ideas of prices, so I'll give you the idea of prices in US dollars. So it's about 60 cents US for a kilo of potatoes. 60 cents US for onions. Same 60 cents US for carrots. About $1 US for tomatoes. Carrots about 80 cents a kilo. And then we have strawberries. I didn't see the price of strawberries, but I think I'm going to buy some. Yeah, generally the fruits and vegetables being a provisional town, smaller town, I would say they're quite cheap. Different types of coffee. Soon I'm going to go to the coffee shop that I had yesterday. You see capsicum is about $2 a kilo. And
Oh, just straight ahead, I want to show you a meat market.
Okay.
John, as you can see in the difference between Russia and Ukraine, the maps and Russian territories are not hiding because they're not mobilizing people for the army. Okay, now we can turn left. You can see the dog.
These central markets are very, very popular in Russia, in Eastern Europe. They're a very good place for people to do their shopping. There's a central market like this in Donetsk also, but because of the shelling, it's not so operating these days. I mean, not in this full power. Russians really like fermented food. They keep through winter. They're very delicious.
You can
cheeses. Different types of meat, very fresh. You can see the beef, the pork, the swanina, look, all delicious types of meat. All milk products, especially kefir is very, very, very popular in Russia. Okay. And you see, they say that the sanctions on Russia, Oreo, Mars, Bounty, doesn't look like sanctions are really working because all the foreign brands are here. Milka,
The women are preaching that if they will be shown on the Russian TV, I said they will be shown on the Australian
So, would you say that there's shortage of food in Russia?
No, definitely not.
Some plants for people's garden, they can plant their own vegetables.
Yeah. On the left side, you can see the chart.
So this is a new church from 2010. It's in the center of town, probably not the biggest church, but we often say in Ukraine they are destroying the churches, and the Russians are Slavic people, most of them. Of course, there's a mixture, there's Buddhists, there's Muslims, there's pagans, but mostly they're Slavic people, and it's important for them to worship. Ukrainians also are, but unfortunately they cannot worship in many places of Ukraine. Ukraine is trying to rewrite history, to rewrite culture, and doesn't allow the diversity of. I'm not saying not everybody should be Orthodox, not at all, but everybody should be able to be what they want to be. And I'm going to go to the church and put one candle for the spirit of my father. Which is good?
15, 30.
It doesn't matter. 30, okay.
По 50, все. 62, 60, да?
Если по 32,
Да.
60 рублей.
60.
Okay.
И 10 рублей еще.
Вот, да.
Я 50 рублей тратила. Да.
You can see that it's quite a modern church. It's has that feel, different architecture, things like this in the old ones. Although I'm not a practicing Christian in the traditional way, Jesus has always been my hero, because while other archetypes like Buddha and things, they sit and meditate and things, Jesus was an activist. Jesus went to the temple to destroy the moneylenders, which are basically the bankers of the old days. He fought for justice. He didn't just sit on his ass and relax, So when I do my work, I always feel I have Jesus in my heart, because he symbolizes for me the archetype of somebody who actually takes action to repair the world, takes action to change the world, takes action to make the world a better place. So I love going to the churches, and it just brings me a moment of peace. It brings me a moment of remembering who I am.
Блин, да мы столько...
Не видим.
Столько все накинемся.
Я помню в детстве, когда забрал.
Вот, давай тогда бери лопату.
No, small one tastes better. I understand agriculture. Small strawberry, much better.
просто. Давайте маленькую возьмем. Все, давай. Вот маленькую, он говорит, маленькую надо брать на пакете. Пакетов маленького. Большой, good looking.
Мне тоже вкусно.
Тоже, да,
Только не сиди.
В следующий раз на гули пойти аппетит и приходите.
Ага.
На 100 рублей хотя бы можно сделать.
Да, есть мой генерал. 100 please.
Понял.
Вот так.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Приходите
I'm from Australia.
Из Австралии.
с Австралии. Мы рады вам.
So you can see Bediansk is a beautiful city, and I didn't even realize we are at the end of the boulevard here. You see here, this is thing about the circus, but Bediansk have a full pomegranate. You can actually walk in the middle of the city, and you have the sea in the middle of the city.
So this is the sign. I love Berdyansk.
Okay.
So it was changed some time ago. There was a statue of Vladimir Lenin, but at the times of the Ukraine, it was destroyed.
Okay, so the Lenin statue was destroyed here. Okay.
Yeah.
And the beautiful seaside of Bediansk. You can see what a beautiful city it is, because from here there's the boulevard that goes all through the city, and here we have completely beautiful sea line here. This is not really a sandy beach, but in the distance the sandy beach starts. People are swimming here. Russian people don't care. They swim even when there's ice. I seen in Siberia they jump in ice. For Russian people, actually, this is a warm day. I'm like this, but my colleagues around, they are dressed in traditional fishing. There's a beautiful esplanade here that goes forever. This is actually a classic tourist town, a beautiful classic tourist town. So I think now soon, when the war ends, Bediansk will welcome many people. You know, many people. It's a very beautiful town. Today is a rainy day in Bryansk. Streets quite empty. It's a very nice central walkway, and a lot, because it's a seaside town, a lot of posh restaurants, like quite high class restaurants. So just small rain and everybody disappeared from the street. Good. Right. And we have no people.
Okay, go.
This is coffee here. This is now our favorite coffee in Bryansk.
She's so little, she's only 5 months. So
little bit distance. Pleased to meet you. I just walking on the street. Some people giving us some, I don't know, some advertisement. No?
Reasons, yes.
What?
Advertisements.
For taxi.
Yes, taxi.
Oh, maybe I need taxi. Prosto. And suddenly I see like your English teacher.
Yes.
Yeah. What's your name?
Настя.
Yes. Okay. My name is Johnny.
Nice to meet you.
I just come here. I've been in Donetsk for a long time, and I just came here just to talk about life. You know, not to talk about politics, not to talk who liked this, who liked that. How's the life there? Is normal life like any time?
Yes, we live normal life.
Yeah.
Without maybe any cancels, like without any.
Что ты хочешь сказать?
Ну, типа, отмены какие-то.
Without any culture cancelling.
Culture canceling.
Yeah.
We have magazines, as you see.
Yeah,
we have clubs, nightclubs.
Yeah, really?
Yes.
But really, but I was told everything closed at 10 o'clock, no?
Yes, nightclub is working to 9 o'clock. Nightclub, yes, we have.
Evening club.
Yes, evening club.
Yeah.
We have cafes, a lot of cafes. There are a lot of shops. Yes, opening now.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
And what is your wish for the future? How you see your future? You want to stay here? You want to go to
People
Moscow?
not arguing about the policy. Every country is good. Every people in other countries are good, and I want that people don't argue about the policy there.
All people.
Yes, all people are. Sorry, my dog.
Yes, your dog. Okay.
Yes. So I want
So
maybe that.
you think peace will come soon?
That yes. I think yes.
Yeah.
This is just a typical seaside town, and I actually like the atmosphere here. I thought I will take holiday in Crimea, but if I manage, I will come to take holiday here. So this is the seaside. I mean, look, what you see and this is a big day. So what you see in the background, it's still Bryansk, but this is what is more the touristic, where all the hotels are, all the holiday homes, and here in the center of the city. So I mean, quite a nice center of the city. Okay, no ACDC, I'm from Australia. I know ACDC. Okay, no problem. Нет. Bryansk is a beautiful place. This is just a glimpse of Bryansk. For instance, the Bryansk Museum gives its history. I want to show you the life here, because Bryansk and places like this just show us exactly why Russia never invaded. Russia just basically came and said, okay, you want to join us? You can join us. Because they're Russian here. And they can't live under a regime that oppresses their language, their culture. So naturally, they ask Russia, please come and take us. So yeah, I hope one day many of you will be able to come and visit these territories. Bryansk is a seaside resort. It's really beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So please, I ask you to share this with the world, to subscribe, to like, to make the story known. And as an independent reporter, I rely on you completely. So whoever is able to donate, it will be greatly appreciated. Until next time, be well, everybody.
So there we are. That is Johnny, who's a long-time friend of the show, and that was his video. And you can find him on YouTube, Cafe Revolution 1. You can also find him very much on Telegram, Cafe Revolution, all one word, of course. And please go like, subscribe, support his channel. What he does is he goes and shows you slices of life around Russia, and as you can see, the Russians aren't struggling here. Everything that we're hearing in the West is complete nonsense. And of course, we're going to get more and more into that. Now, we've also got Mark Breckle with us as well. We're going to go to Louis Bastos and Sean. Then we're going to try and get Mark on the show if we can. If not, if we can't get him on video, we'll certainly get him on, certainly on the voice. Louis Bastos, then Sean Murphy.
Thank you very much for that, Warren. It is very heartwarming. My wife loves it. And he didn't show the port, because there's a port there, Bryansk. But when we go, I'll do some videos for you as well and send them to you with the port and all the action in the harbor, things like that.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad your wife enjoyed it, Louis. And of course, for all the people who are out there, they are just ordinary Russian people. As you can see, they're not struggling for food at all. And the lies that we're being told is quite incredible. Ever since 2014, when the Americans first overthrew the democratically then elected government of Ukraine, and the fun and games that we've had, and we're going to get on to more of that after we've spoken to Mark. Sean Murphy.
Well, Warren, I mean, it is quite eye-opening, really, although we know what we believe.
Yeah.
It's quite eye-opening that when you look at those markets, I mean, firstly, the place is spotless.
I noticed
the
that.
people are friendly. You know, it's not overcrowded. The markets have got everything you could ever want in them. You know, if you want to go shopping, you don't even have to leave. You can shop in the same building.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's plenty of it, and it's good quality.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Good call. We're going to show a little video now, and then we're going to talk to Mark. Now, Mark Breckle's a long time friend of the show. This is what he took when he looking at the May parade. There we are. So I'm pleased to welcome Mark Breckle. Good evening, Mark. How are you?
Очень приятно.
It's lovely to have you on. We're trying to get you to come on as a panelist. I don't know whether where you are will allow you to do that. I've just put,
I'm in difficulty with internet connections, so you have to bear with me.
That's all right, not a problem. What we're going to do, Mark, is while we're talking, we're going to play a couple of your videos, and of course that you were so pleased, so nicely sent us, and of course this is the NATO wagons, isn't it? This is about a 10-minute video, so we're going to keep it going in the background while we're talking. How many times is it now, Mark, you've been to Russia?
Well, I started going in 2002, and I went every single year right up to special military operation. I left Kazan in February 22 as the invasion started. It's ironically, I was actually going to fly to Kiev for a couple of days, but had a little slight change of plan.
And of course, Mark goes quite off. Mark, tell us how the general mood is since you've been there. I know you're a big fan of going to Russia and you enjoy it. It does seem as though life is pretty much, unless you're at the front, life is pretty much normal, isn't it?
Oh yeah, there's nothing changed. The only problem that they're having is issues with Telegram, issues with WhatsApp, which is VPN connection, but normal life in Russia's just the same. I've walked all over Moscow. There's the shops are full of nice food. The transport system's absolutely brilliant. You pay 800 rubles for a card, and you can go around the metro, for about four days. So the transport system is brilliant. They've just actually got electric boats for the cruising. So life's good.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem as though, I mean, first of all, that the sanctions are not working whatsoever. And if you're just wondering what we're looking at NATO equipment that's been burnt up on the battlefield, all these wonder weapons that they said they were going to send over. Mark, the sanctions aren't working at all, are they, on Russia?
It's absolute nonsense. I've been in some shops that are absolutely huge. They're 3 stories high. I once went to a place called Kazan Mall in Kazan. They just built it, and that was 6 stories high. And I've been to at least 6 stores in Moscow, and everything is no different. You've got your basic, like Johnny was saying, Oreo ice cream. You've got about 6 different versions of Coca-Cola. I went actually in where Red Square is. There's a place called Boska, and it's where the Russian fashion store is. And it was absolutely packed out. So I even found an Apple iStore which was selling Samsung phones. So there's nothing. It's actually just changed the name. It's like I was eating at McDonald's, which is Kusna on Tochka, which is just is McDonald's. There's Burger King, there's Rustics, which is now KFC. The food's beautiful. It's no different. And
Mo saying, do they have Coca-Cola in an aluminium bottle?
But you know, I had to laugh because everyone's obviously in England worrying about fuel. I can actually fly from Moscow to Kazan for £22, and there's regular flights all over Russia. So, and if you noticed on one of the picture I sent you about the fuel, it's still approximately 77 rubles for fuel. And I remember it first in 2002, the fuel was approximately 24 rubles. So it hasn't moved much since 2002.
Yeah, it's quite staggering. And of course, if you're just joining us or you're watching the show, very simply, what you're seeing is, of course, Mark Reckley's with us. Mark Reckley's currently in Russia. And of course, he's taken these videos. So it's not Russian propaganda. This is a Brit who's over there videoing this stuff. And what you're seeing is NATO's wonder weapons, the Bradleys and various other things, shall we say, and Bushmasters that have been blown up, that literally, and of course, trust the Russians to basically make a museum out of our NATO scrap. It is. It does seem absolutely crazy, and as Mark's saying, there is nothing is happening whatsoever in terms of it. Almost is it an unreal thing, Mark? Because unless you're at the front, you don't really notice the war's going on.
Well, it's funny you said that because before I was coming on the 8th, and there was actually threatening a very large drone strike, and I thought I'm going to be in this. And but there was a ceasefire. It never happened. But the thing is, though, I've been to Ufa. There was been a drone strike there. I've been to Cheboksary. There was a drone strike. I've been to Yishkalar. I've been to Kazan. The thing is, though, what you see on the news is they're only hitting either oil depots or civilian flats.
Yeah. I mean, the civilian flats, I mean, it seems absolutely crazy that it almost seems like a pointless war, Mark. Would that be fair?
Well, I don't see the point of sending a drone from Ukraine to hit a block of flats.
No.
There doesn't seem any sense to it. And, well, if anybody actually walks through Russia, Soviet-style blocks of flats are the same model all the way through the country, unless you want to buy a dacha or a large, house actually just on a settlement. So basically, and I know a few people have actually sold property in Russia, and they've made quite a lot of money out of it. That people are struggling to actually buy property in Russia because it's going up that high.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing it here. I mean, the complete nonsense that Scott Bessent of the US Treasury is coming out with, saying that Russia's collapsing any moment and all the rest of it. And they've been saying it for years and years and years. Of course, trust you to find the alcohol section. They don't seem to be struggling. They don't seem to be struggling for anything to drink there, do they?
No. Well, the thing is, though, there's a very, very popular chain in England, and they took a certain drink off called Baltica 7, which is Baltica 7. And I went into the pub and asked about it. They said, "Oh no, we've taken it off the shelf because of the war in Ukraine." And I said, it was approximately just over £4.50 a bottle, and I can buy it in Russia for 99p.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. It does seem a strange thing, Mark, because Thank you very much for sending us all these videos, by the way. And we hope you send us many, many more. But it is good for the people who are, shall we say, outside of Russia to be able to see some of the inside of Russia. And it almost seems a surreal war, if you know what I mean. If you're anywhere near the front line, then it's a very real thing. But almost like when you are elsewhere, it doesn't seem to be affecting Russia too much at all.
No, but the thing is, though, it's the Russians are very, very proud of what they're doing. That you'll find with Russia 1 on the news there, it's all about Ukraine. It's how much the Russian army is pushing forward. The very, very proud nation. Yeah. The only upsetting thing I found was obviously I couldn't get onto Red Square. I got as far as Pushkin Square, which is just near the first ever McDonald's, and that was as close as I could get to Red Square. But I went to Red Square today, and it was absolutely surreal. That's the first time I'd not actually seen tanks or heavy machinery. So that was a little bit different, but seeing that the jets go across with the TriStar, that was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing, Warren, this is what you'll not see in England. There was a lady had a picture of a former soldier that served in World War II, and she took this photograph all the way to Red Square, and she walked around Red Square when obviously Putin had moved and they let everyone go on to Red Square. And there were so many people doing that, walking and singing. They're very, very proud of what they did in the in the Second World War. That will never go away for the Soviet people.
No, I've tried to get that across to people that May the 9th is a pretty sacred day. And of course, the reason they didn't fly any drones whatsoever, because Russia said, we'll hit central Kiev. And of course, that's where all the people who are stealing all the money live. It is quite staggering when you get into all of the things that they're talking about that. And I have to say this because you get immense nonsense that comes out when it comes to this. So, for instance, let's give you yesterday or last night, I should say, there were over 1,300 drones and 50 missiles hit various places, including giving Kiev a bit of a pasting. And they seem to just carry on with this war. And it almost seems as though Russia are just tidying up this war, or just, shall we say, nibbling away at it. And all the time, the people who are saying, oh, Russia's economy is terrible and this, that, and the other, France is the imports of Russian LNG are at a record high, and France are the biggest buyers. And yet, von der Leyen and all the other people are telling us that by 2027 they're not going to be buying any LNG. That's complete nonsense, isn't it, Mark?
Oh yeah, the thing is though, it doesn't matter what will happen; they'll always buy from Russia. I wouldn't. If you put money on it, obviously you're gonna win.
Yeah, absolutely. It is quite a bizarre thing. Let's get on to a couple of other things when it comes to Russia, because there is obviously a war going on. I do want to play this because there are Ukrainian men, as they were Johnny was explaining in the video, Mark. Have you seen anybody being grabbed off the streets like they're doing in Ukraine to throw onto the front line?
Never. I've asked people about this, and they said it's zero. He said there's not one foreigner or anybody that's been pulled off the street. I actually spoke to some Russian paratroopers right in the front of the Flame of the Unknown Soldier, and I explained in my best Russian. And I said, thank you for what you've done, because I said I was in Yishkalar and I met a lot of paratroopers there, and he was absolutely made up. There was 3 of them, and they put flowers down, and he said That's very nice, and actually an English person that's saying thank you, and he was very appreciative about that.
Yeah, and that's kind of a great thing. And of course, I want to play this because before we get into the map, and we're going to show you the map. Remember this.
I finish just by saying this.
This
War is an
is an
easy
event.
thing to talk about. There are not many people of the generation that remember it. The right honourable gentleman served with distinction in the last war. I never killed anyone, but I wore uniform. But I was in London in the Blitz in 1940, living in the Millbank Tower where I was born. Some different ideas have come in since. And every night I went down to the shelter in Thames House. Every morning I saw Dockland burning. 500 people were killed in Westminster one night by a landmine. It was terrifying. Aren't Arabs terrified? Aren't Iraqis terrified? Don't Arab and Iraqi women weep when their children die? Doesn't bombing strengthen their determination? What fools we are to live in a generation for which war is a computer game for our children and just an interesting little Channel 4 news item. Every member of Parliament tonight who votes for the government motion will be consciously and deliberately accepting the responsibility for the deaths of innocent people if the war begins, as I fear it will. Now, that's for their decision to take. But this is a quite unique debate in my parliamentary experience where we're asked to share responsibility for a decision we won't really be taking with consequences for people who have no part to play, even as I think of them. We, the peoples of the United Nations, determined to save future generations, succeeding generations, from the scourge of war, which twice in our lifetime has caused untold suffering to mankind. That was the pledge of that generation to this generation, and it would be the greatest betrayal of all if we voted to abandon the Charter and take unilateral action.
And of course, we can apply that, Mark, to the current Ukraine-Russia war. I mean, Ukrainian mothers and Ukrainian, brothers, sisters, and everybody weeping. I mean, they're getting slaughtered in great numbers, Mark, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, yeah. But I want to quick mention something I watched on Russia News. I believe Zelensky is getting a right good grilling over corruption. Now, is number two?
Yermak.
That's the one. Yeah, I believe he's got quite a good deal in houses at the moment.
He has, yeah. He's got quite a few. He's got even more than well, I don't know that he's got more than Zelensky, but Kvartal 95, of course, have bought over 400 million. His business partners like Mindich, who is now currently escaped to Israel, have got over 400 million in properties in the UK alone. And of course, we've shown you that we've actually got what you might term Hitler youth camps. Ukrainians, brown shirt uniforms, literally in camps in the UK, Banderites. Go and have a look for yourself if you don't believe me. Go and have a look at the Ukraine Youth Association, as they very pleasantly call it, in the UK. You're talking about proper uniforms, just like the brown shirts. Nilus.
Yeah, well, it's wonderful to hear Mark again, and welcome to the show. But what Johnny's video and Louis' comments and Mark's comments as well, this shows, what a natural people the Russians are. Yeah, and how they live in peace. Those girls at the cafe at that coffee shop were wonderful, and we've got all our main political parties just sprouting. We must have war with Russia. We must have war with Russia, and it's just incredible why this whole propaganda for war with Russia is going about in the West. It's a European thing, from Kalakalis to a whole European community to Stalin, and even King Charles.
Yes.
Yeah.
And of course, Kaya Kallis wants to be the negotiator. I can't think of a worse person.
Right. And I can't help but think, well, I've always had for many years, we're on the wrong side. You know, when you think about what our societies are coming into, you know, based on pornography, drug abuse, alcoholism, and general, decline, moral decline, really.
Yeah.
There's no.
I don't. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
it's a bit like you and Millwall. You know, the only place where people can feel at home now is in places like football clubs.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Let's hear from Lee Williams, and then we'll get on to a little bit of that. Lee Williams.
I was going to say it's a factor that, you know, Mark knows he's safe there. Even if he said he was English, it's not a case that they'd be against him because they know it's not the actual people. It's vice versa anywhere around the world. It's to do with this corporation that's commanding and the upset of the world. You know, it's genuinely good people there.
Yeah, I mean, there are some, you know, and of course we are led by complete Russophobes and buffoons. But Kaya Kallas got her comeuppance yesterday in the European Parliament. Just have a listen to this for a minute.
Warum, Frau Kallas, sollte ich mit Ihnen über Kuba sprechen? Ich habe gerade Ihre Autobiografie gelesen. 432 belanglose Seiten. In Estland 80% Preis reduziert auf 3,99 €, Hardcover, bei Amazon gar nicht erhältlich. Sie haben von Kuba, Europa und der Welt ebenso wenig Ahnung wie von Diplomatie, Außenpolitik oder Hirnchirurgie. Größeren Erkenntnisgewinn verspreche ich mir von einem Gespräch mit meinem Hamster über schwarze Löcher in Zwerggalaxien.
There we are. Black holes in dwarf galaxies. Kaya Kallas, I would expect to have a greater conversation with my hamster, Sean Murphy, and then Mark Brackle.
Well, all stunning and brave. She didn't look very impressed there, did she?
No, she didn't. She didn't, not at all. Mark Brackle, that's about right, isn't it? You don't want this woman anywhere near the negotiations, do you?
Oh, God, no, she is. I suppose she is Hitler in drag, really, isn't she?
Yeah, absolutely. That.
The other thing I was going to ask you as well, which is very popular on Russian news, all the silliness that's going on with Armenia. Macron seems to be doing yellow blue signs, and which is two hearts going towards the fingers. But I was talking to a Russian friend, and Armenia is very, very close to Russia. They need Russia. I don't know what your opinion is on that one. Warren.
Well,
was it very popular on the Russian news?
Yeah, and let's be honest here. We remember Helianu, don't we? We remember when we talked about it a couple of years ago now, when he moved to Armenia to try and get the French up there. And then, of course, you had, of course, the idiotic Macron coming out and saying that Russia were colonizing Africa, which is absolutely crazy. When you look back in history, go and have a look at all the countries that we named in our show that the French actually colonized in Africa. There's almost no country that they didn't colonize in Africa, including many other places, of course, where they got their backsides kicked. So, yeah, you're absolutely right, Mark. It is pretty crazy.
There is one quite amusing fact that's been on Russian news as well, that Macron got a slap by his wife on the airplane.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did. He did get slapped by his wife, and then they tried to man him up by saying, "Oh, he was texting some model, some Iranian model," and of course that was proven to be a complete lie. His wife just likes to slap him about, but yeah, he definitely copped one. He got a good right hander, and the next thing you know, he turned up in a pair of aviator sunglasses. Obviously to hide the black eye. Nillis wanted to jump in. Nillis.
Well, just saying that guy that spoke in the European Parliament, he's quite brave, I would have thought, because as Ursula said, yeah, we got tools, and the way that they treated Orbán and everybody else, you know, they don't fight fairly, these neocons.
No,
and
they never do.
we've got to be grateful for people who expose them, like that man in the European Parliament.
Yeah, absolutely, and well done to him. No doubt he'll probably get his head chopped off at some point for doing that. But well done for him for expressing it. So let's get on to this then, because we promised Russia maps, and we haven't done this in a long while. And of course, we know that the port of Odessa is being blockaded by the Russians at the moment. It's being pummeled. But what we're going to do is take you through some of the battle areas that we have. So when we get down to Kherson, there's a fair bit going on here, but not a great deal. And of course, the Russians are getting ready for a push. We're going to go through some of where we think the actual push is going to end up. So when we get into the fighting and everything else, you literally have to come around to Zaporizhia. This is going to be one of the areas that they do try and make some headway in. And as you can see in this area here, all this box you can see, that is currently just been taken under Russian control. And the grey areas you can see, or the white areas shielded in, the red is Russian, and the white areas are where there is currently intense or pretty straightforward fighting. So in this area here around Primorsk and Pavlivka, there is a fair amount of fighting going on there. And when we get up to here, this is where it starts to get very intense, because the Russians are making quite a push towards Olnik, I should say, and Lubetsky. This is very much, as you can see, these areas of fighting here, very intense indeed. And of course, they are slowly trying to cut off Orkiv, which is here. And then, of course, they'll make a further push across the river. But Orkiv is actually on the river, and it's split between, as I say, between the river splits, literally rather like Kupiansk. The river splits that down. Now we're going to have a look at Andriivka, of course, where there's lots of fighting going on there. And of course, that area tends to be hotly contested. Let's try and zoom that out. I haven't got the best wheel on my mouse, but I am sorting that out with grateful thanks to Sean Murphy. And of course, the Russians are making gains there as well. And there's people going, oh, but the Ukrainians have made gains. They have, but not in areas where it really counts. And as you can see, all along the front line, now you can see Dobrofilia, Minorad is in the past, look. Pokrovsk and Minorad. You remember, no more than 6 months ago, we were talking about the battle for Pokrovsk and Minorad. It's well over. Look at the gains they are making, and they've moved on to Rudzinsk, which we told you they would be doing that. Now we're going to zip before we get on to the main battle, and there, of course, you can see around here there has been major gains around the Dobrofilia area as well. Now, before we get on to the main battle, we're going to zip up to the top of the map just to have a little look at what's going on there. And as you can see, in those areas around Vovchansk, and of course the areas that we were talking about before, Vilcha, and of course all around these areas is where they are looking to try and take places. So of course that's just making a buffer zone from Kharkiv to stop them getting into Belgorod and various other places. And as we go up the map, you can see the same thing happening in Sumy, but there's more going on in Sumy than you actually think there is. So there's Sudza. You remember the Ukrainians tried to take that or keep some men in there. They put some men through the pipeline and knocked them out. Well, there's lots of that going on in the north, but it's not where we think the main push is going to come from. Kupiansk is now pretty much becoming under Russian control. But it is in the, shall we say, the Donbass that they have promised that they're going to take by the autumn. So this is Lyman, or Lyman, as they call it, and there is intense fighting going on there already, and Lyman is going to be cut off soon. As you can see, with the push here, it's going to make this area into a pocket, into a cauldron, and that is one of the places that the Russians want to take, because they want to try and make a push to the road or the serving roadway down there. And as you can see here, as we come out a little, we're going to come out a little bit. There's Kramatorsk, so there's Lyman. And once they can get across the water there, they can make a bolt for the M03 there. And of course, once they do that, they're then cutting off the main road to Sloviansk. There's a set of hills here and a set of hills here that the Russians are closing in on, and they will then have firepower over Sloviansk. Now, of all of them, Sloviansk is going to be the hardest to take because, of course, there are dug-in positions on these hillsides. But once they take those hills, they will have direct firepower into Sloviansk and also into Kramatorsk. And as you can see here, they are edging closer and closer. The battle for Konstantinivka is going to be going soon. So we're going to make a prediction. We're going to tell you that by September, we're going to make this prediction now, that by September, Kramatorsk will be in Russian. Not only will Kramatorsk be in Russian hands, but the battle for Sloviansk and Kramatorsk, will be underway. Konstantinivka will fall, and literally this area will be cut off, and the battle for the last bit of the Donbass will finally be happening, and that's Sloviansk and Kramatorsk there. So we are saying that by the end of this year, and it's a bold prediction, the Russians are going to be in these two areas. This is going to be the siege area. Everywhere else is going to be taken, and we are predicting there's going to be a semicircular cauldron around here, right the way around Kramatorsk to about here, so that Sloviansk and Kramatorsk, once again, there'll only be roadways in that literally can come under fire. So as you can see, you've got the H20. This road will be under firepower of the Russians, and these roads, this road here, will be under the firepower of the Russians. And what they're looking to do, of course, is cut off this road here that goes to Cherkasky. So just giving you a heads up. Mark, you're out there. What are you hearing from the Russians?
Well, basically, your predictions are very. The Donbass will be taken by Russia. I've seen a lot of activity around by Kharkiv, Sumy. There's been a heavy attacks on Dnipropetrovsk,
Yes.
and especially Zaporizhia. It's getting a little bit more round Kherson. There's been quite a little bit more action round there, but I'm not seeing as much because obviously where I'm at the moment, I've not got the internet access like you.
Nicely out of the way, yeah.
Yeah, slightly in the woods at the minute. So, but yeah. There's definitely some is going to go Russian. I can guarantee that.
Yes.
And definitely Kharkiv, the Donbass will they'll take all the Donbass, and I'm seeing. I wouldn't surprise me if Dnipropetrovsk falls to the Russians as well.
Yeah.
I'm going out on a limb here. I would say possibly half of Ukraine at least, or get to the Dnipro River anyway.
Yes. Yeah, I think you may be right.
Because Odessa's getting a pounding as well, and you said yourself there's a blockade, is there?
There is. Yeah. Yeah, they're going nowhere. And of course,
right. That's what I'm hearing is that Russia can't get near certain parts of the Black Sea, so that just shows you, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, they're literally parked there, and the Zelensky curse has struck again, of course, because the Latvian government, who have been allowing Ukrainian drones to go through, and of course the Ukrainian drones have crashed into Latvian buildings. Serves them right. They tried to turn a blind eye and said, no, it's not happening, and this, that, and the other. And because they've crashed into buildings and killed children, guess what? The whole Latvian government has collapsed and they have resigned. Looks like the Zelensky curse has struck again, Mark.
It's definitely. But it's time that people woke up, because I was walking through a centre of Moscow and there's a lot of Russian monuments that have been pulled down by nationalists.
Yeah,
and it's the disgrace.
It is quite.
These countries have been part of Russia they're independent now, so there's no need to actually be nasty with Russia anymore. It's just all hype. And like you said, none of these armies can do anything against Russia anyway.
No.
Like I said, they're all yapping dogs, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely that. So mostly the whole thing has been about Russia, but we had some nonsense from Rubio.
Every president in the last 20 years has been worried about the Iran nuclear program. Obama did a nuclear deal with them because he was worried about it. Not a good nuclear deal, but he made one. The president reversed it and imposed crippling sanctions and took out Soleimani, who was a threat to the United States. Joe Biden was begging to get back into a nuclear deal with them. The whole world, you know, the French, the Germans, the UK, they imposed new sanctions on Iran last year, snapback sanctions, because of the nuclear threat. The whole world has seen Iran was building up a conventional capability where they would have so many missiles and so many drones that they could overwhelm anybody's defenses. Once they had that, nobody could do anything about their nuclear program, because they would say, if you attack our nuclear program, we will wipe out 6 countries in the Gulf region and you won't be able to defend against it. You won't have enough patriots, you know, because you get these swarms of drones, these swarms of rockets.
So there we are. There's Marco Rubio changing the rules again. Oh, they got too many missiles and drones. And of course, he also came out with a nonsense, Mark, that of course we are the mediators, not the people taking part in the Ukraine-Russia war. That's news to me.
Well, it's news to me as well. But the thing is, though, I was reading that some of the American aircraft carriers, the toilets don't even work.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. I keep forgetting that you don't get too much of the Western news out there.
No, no, but the nonsense that Trump comes out with, honestly, he must read it off a cornflake packet. You know,
it is quite incredible. Well, shall we have a look at so anybody who's watched the show, and Mark's with us, so he's not seen this for a while, or not seen our show for a while. Very, very simply, when the Americans went out there, this is how bad it is, right? When the Americans went out there, they were told 4 things, 4 red lines. The 4th red line was, do not say anything awful about our country or horrible things about our country, because we will take that in a very bad light. And as soon as Fox News decided to park wherever they liked, this is what they went and did.
In fact, our driver parked illegally for 2 minutes, and he got a message on his phone that he got a ticket for about $40 US because they saw it on the camera. Now, there are real questions what the CCP's goal is about citizen tracking and social scoring. They say it's to make everybody feel safe. These cameras are watching every minute. They're everywhere. And while they're watching us here in China, we hope you continue to watch. Special report from Beijing.
So there we are. Fox News couldn't help themselves. They went out there, started making absolutely stupid comments about the way the Chinese live. Go and have a look at some of the American thing. And if you want to know how much of a bellend American Fox News are when they're abroad, have a look at this. He is doing a report in China. Watch this absolute melon. Have a look.
这瓜多少钱一斤呢？2块钱一斤。我操，这瓜皮子是金子做的，还是瓜梨子是金子做的？你瞧瞧现在哪有瓜呀？这都是大棚里的瓜。你嫌贵我还嫌贵呢。给我挑一个，给我挑一个行。这个怎么样？这瓜保收吗？我开水锅摊的能卖给你生瓜担子。我问你这瓜保收吗？
Now, I don't normally swear like a lunatic here, but you've been invited to another country. You are part and parcel of, shall we say, a goodwill project. You are going there to report and say nice things and try and put things together. And you send a guy out there who walks in the middle of fucking traffic. What an utter fucking bellend you are. This is just the thing, and I don't mean this about the nice Americans out there. Why is it you think you can go to a country and just jaywalk through the middle of everyday traffic about Chinese people going about their day? You absolute wanker. And this is why Americans are hated abroad. Have some humility and behave properly. You utter spaz. Sean Murphy, Nillis. I'll calm down.
Well,
now.
Warren, to be honest, I don't think Fox News are going to be persona non. They're going to be persona non grata soon in China. I think they'll be chucked out on their ear hole.
Yeah, it
I
just
can't
amazes
see the
me.
Chinese. I can't see the Chinese putting up with their shenanigans.
Now, I don't know who that guy was.
They walk around like they own the place.
Yeah, I don't know who that guy is. I didn't find out his name. But honestly,
twat.
Bell End is his name. Nillis, you say something so I have time to calm down.
Isn't that guy from isn't it the guy from the Fast Show? I think it is. But
yeah,
what I was going to say is that, yeah, jaywalking is illegal in America. You have to cross, if you're a pedestrian, you have to cross both the zebra or the crossings. If you cross anywhere else, you can get arrested. So I think it's just that view of that confusion there with walking in the traffic was just trying to put China in a bad light, saying how confused the road system is, probably something like that.
It is incredible. I'll go. Yeah, we get arrested for jaywalking. If he did that in America, he'd be arrested or run over. You know, but we can do this in their country because they're just horrible little yellow people. You absolute prick. Somebody else start that. Yeah, go on.
I put my hand up because, is there any news about what's happened with Trump in China?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get into that in a minute. And it's not a lot, to be honest, but there is some. Lee Williams.
I was going to say, if the guy was to find one piece of rubbish there or count how many accidents there are there, then he'll realise it's nothing like America, as well as the jaywalking, as walking down a road.
I swear to God, Lee, if I'd have been on a motorbike there, I'd have smashed into him. Honestly, I'd have sent him absolutely flying. The arrogant little prick.
Definitely a bad end. No doubt about it.
Jim.
I reckon you won't find any fentanyl people there either. You know, the ones bent over backwards.
Yeah, all dancing around the zombie music, all dancing around the Thriller by Michael Jackson.
They're looking for something, but trivial, because they can't find. I mean, you couldn't compare America with China.
I mean, it's just to get a news crew and walk down the middle of obviously a massively busy intersection with Chinese people trying to go about their day as though it didn't matter. He didn't even look as though, he was interested. He was like, I'm here, you can all go round me. Yeah, Berkeley Hunt is absolutely right, Alexis. That's, really annoying. Let's get into some of this then. Here we go.
Bond of commerce and respect that stretches back 250 years is the foundation for a future that benefits both of our nations. The American and Chinese people share much in common. We value hard work, we value courage and achievement, we love our families, and we love our countries. Together we have the chance to draw on these values to create a future of greater prosperity, cooperation, and happiness, and peace for our children. We love our children. This region and the world is a special world with the two of us united and together.
那么至于商业当中的
there we are. So that was, of course, what he was saying. Let's just go through. Xi Jinping, of course, wasn't having any of the handshake nonsense. Didn't work at all. We'll have Nillis, then Sean Murphy. But I will turn around and say that they had a 2-hour meeting, almost nothing changed whatsoever. They turned around and they said, literally, China said about the ongoing problems with Taiwan, and America, it wasn't a love-in, it was be polite, say nice things about each other. And it was only a 2-hour meeting, so you're not going to get much soul. And of course, now the tech people are just meeting to have a chat. So nothing really has come out of this, Nicholas. This is America saying, can you stop Iran in the war? And China turning around and saying, what about Taiwan? Nicholas.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Yeah, I'm glad China is still going to support Iran and as much as possible, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly that. Good call. Sean Murphy.
Well, Warren, that little speech Trump was giving then was just a total nothing burger.
Yeah.
There was nothing there. There was no substance to it. There was no news to it. He didn't announce anything.
Yeah.
That was it.
And the Chinese did say something about this. Trump said we need 2 billion a day to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. And it wasn't reportedly the Chinese foreign minister did say. But the Strait of Hormuz was already open before the war. The root cause of this disruption is your illegal military operations against Iran. And you created a global crisis out of nothing. She's pretty spot on there, I think. And of course, when it comes to Iran, they're not just winning the war, or shall we say, doing well in the war. They're also kicking their asses in the propaganda state. Here's the latest from the Lego Men.
Yeah. 1953. They stole our democracy. Take it back, take it back, take it back. You overthrew Mossadegh, put the Shah on our back, stole our oil, trained your dogs to attack. But in 70 hours we rose up and took it back. 1953, CIA and MI6 made the plan. Overthrew our elected leader, Mossadegh the man. He said the oil belongs to Iran, not to the West. So they paid the general, staged the coup d'etat and did the rest. Installed the Shah like a puppet on a golden throne. Savak torture chambers, people dying alone. Decades of repression, foreign boots on our neck, but the fire in our hearts never once left. Take it back, take it back, take it back. You overthrew Mossadegh, put the Shah on our back, stole our oil, trained your dogs to attack. But in 70 hours we rose up and took it back. The people marched in the streets, millions strong, shouted down the tanks, proved the Shah was wrong. They tried to stop us with bullets, with fear, with lies, but the revolution burned brighter in our eyes. We kicked out the Shah, we kicked out the throne, told the foreigners this land is our own. From the ashes of the coup d'etat, a new nation was born, independent, defiant, standing tall till the dawn. Now they're back again with new tricks, same old lies, talking peace at the table while they sharpen their knives. They arm the chaos, then cry about the cost, but we've been burned before, we know what they lost. 90 million strong, lessons carved in our bone. You can try the same game, but we've already grown. Every time you push, we only rise taller. History taught us well, we will never fall, brother. Sacred defense, we took it back once, we'll take it back again. Yeah.
So there we are. That's the latest from the Lego Men, who are kicking CENTCOM's arse. And of course, CENTCOM have been caught lying God knows how many times about what's going on in the war. Now, they've lied once again. Let's give you the updated facts. Now, this is from our guy. Okay, you get lots of people going, oh, no, that can't be true. This is from our guy who works for Lloyd's of London. So they know every ship on the high seas, including those that are called shadow fleet. And shadow fleet just means that Lloyd's aren't insuring these, okay? And there are hundreds of these tankers that Lloyd's are not insuring. That doesn't mean that they specifically work for Iran. They'll work for anyone. They'll go wherever the price is right, okay? Very, very straightforward. There are 62 of these, 62 ships that have been turned back by the Americans. That's absolutely correct. And 4 have been holed. Now, of those 62 ships that have been turned back, 14 have made the journey again and got through. So the literal actually stopping the ships, you just inconvenience one for a while there, is really 48, and the ships that they've held is 4. However, in that time, and this is from Lloyd's of London, so you can argue the point all you like, 317 ships have sailed through the Straits of Hormuz without being stopped at all. The Americans didn't even know they were there, okay? When you get out into the Gulf of Oman, it's quite a big place, and you would need many more ships to be able to stop what are going through the Straits of Hormuz, not according to Lindsey Graham, who is talking about the China. he's really gutted because he didn't get to go. There would have been an international incident if they'd have let Gay for War Graham out.
If China still buys 90% of Iranian oil, they still are the #1 purchaser of Russian oil and gas. When this summit is over and we do nothing about it, we'll have made a big mistake. So he's sitting across. President Trump is trying to be charming, and he's a very effective man. China's put on a hell of a show. But I'm going to judge a summit by what China does. She could pick up the phone and end the Russian-Ukraine war. He could pick up the phone and end the Iran conflict if he chose to. Without China buying Iran oil, they would be out of business. The #1 purchaser of Russian oil and gas, propping up Putin, is China. And my message to President Trump is that we have your back. And if China continues to do this, well, without paying a price for disrupting the world, then we'll have made a huge mistake. I've got legislation that will allow President Trump to put tariffs on China for buying Russian oil and gas, and I'll do the same thing for Iran down the road.
There we go. Never calm down, Lindsay. It'll be the weekend soon. Then you can put a dress on and really be Lindsay. Let's just very simply, if that guy went anywhere near, it would be absolutely terrible. We got a couple of things. This caught my eye. By the way, just before we get on to this, hantavirus.
They won't be stupid enough to fall for it again, will they? Yes, they will.
Okay, please don't fall for any of this nonsense with the hantavirus. Please, give it a rest. Also, if you saw this morning's show, you would have seen this already, but we have to play it again because it's so good. This is Finland's women's response to Muslims asking them, or I should say, not to Muslims, that's unfair, to immigrants saying, please don't rape us. And what they've done is an instructional video, Finland women to the immigrants. This will work like a charm.
Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square. Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square.
Tell it one more time, shall we? I love it.
Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square. Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square.
Now, own up, who was secretly doing the wiggle dance while that was playing. Quite incredible. Of course, they think that will stop any bad things happening to them. God bless them and all who sail in them. Let's have a little look at this.
But that spawned me on to becoming a journalist. So Ezra helped me, coached me, trained me, created me. So I'm very grateful to Ezra Levant. I'm very grateful to, and I know at the time, Bob, Dr. Bob's here. I know at the time Dr. Bob was sponsoring my employment.
Tommy Robinson saying that he helped me, Ezra Levant, helped me, coached me, trained me, created me. If you needed any more knowledge that, of course, that Tommy Robinson is an Israel shill and not for the people of the UK. And I'm all for somebody who's for the UK. Let me just put this out there. I am not for somebody who is 100% for the Muslims or 100% for Israel. I'm for someone who may come out of left field one day and be solely not owned by the lunatic left or Israel, the Israel lobby. I want someone who wants England for English people and is happy. I'm happy to have all the people you like who are doctors and nurses and everything else coming to train. But that's not who's coming over. It really isn't. So let's be absolutely straight here. We want somebody who's English for English people, not somebody who's backed by Israel money. You are just swapping one country for another. If you haven't seen, and by the way, if you're out there banging on about no to digital ID, which I said they would be, out there banging on about that, you're completely missing the point. Don't look over here. Look at Palantir's Spectrum system. Because while you're arguing about that, they're getting on with that. And they can read everything that you are writing. Don't want to get annoyed about that, so I'm not going to. Lee Williams, and then we're going to get into something.
just going to add that how long is he back on holiday over the UK until he goes back to Israel? Is it after the? Yeah, go on.
Yeah, it won't be long, I wouldn't have thought. I think you're absolutely right. It's a great call. Let's have a look at this. This is staggering. Nillis first.
Well, sorry, I was just going to go back to Tommy Robinson.
I thought you were going back to the no-no space.
No. I don't think he started off, as an Israel shrill. Yeah.
No.
But he was like pushed into a corner. He needed money, and then it's a bit like Nick Griffin was saying. He was offered the shekel, and he took it wholeheartedly. And I think that's. I remember his last big rally. The last thing he did was to tear up a Palestinian flag, and I thought, well, what's that to do with Britain? He was just. So he's totally sold. Yeah, he has totally sold out.
Yeah, it's called being a sellout, rather like Andy Burnham, who sold out to the Israel lobby as well through his friends under the bus. You're absolutely right, Nillis. He didn't start out as a sellout. He didn't start out to doing that, but yeah, of course, there has to be a love of Zionism somewhere down the line. Otherwise, they paid his legal bills while he was in prison. There's a great line in a film called Tequila Sunrise, where Raul Julia gets hold of a guy. Raul Julia is playing a Mexican drug dealer, and he finds out that this guy is literally a grass to the FBI. And he grabs hold of him and he goes, "What a shame." He said, "When you've got no friends, you need someone to talk to, and 9 times out of 10, it's your enemies." And it's never a truer word said than that. Let's have a look at this.
You also have some news coming out of the CIA that you'd like to share.
Yeah, so we were actually just notified that the CIA went in and took documents out of ODNI, multiple boxes pertaining to the JFK files as well as MKUltra. The reason why this is troubling is there was an executive order that the president had directed the full declassification of JFK, but then also to the MKUltra files. The CIA famously has said that, all documents were released and other documents had been destroyed. So these are allegedly those documents that apparently never existed, and so very troubling. I did just talk to Chairman Comer, and we are sending in the next hour or so a preservation of documents request to the CIA. I have calls into the White House to the director of the CIA himself, and so obviously as this develops, we'll keep everyone up to date, but strange times we're living.
So there we are, a preservation of documents that were taken about by the CIA. Now that was Anna Paulina Luna. And she was stating that the CIA allegedly removed secret documents related to the assassination of Kennedy and a program researching hypnosis known as MKUltra from the office of the Director of National Intelligence, which is headed by Tulsi Gabbard. Now, earlier, Trump had ordered the declassification of several high-profile political events from the 20th century. We were just informed the CIA entered the ODNI offices and removed documents. Several boxes relating to the files on the Kennedy assassination, as well as MKUltra, which was a secret CIA program related to research in mind control, interrogation, and psychological manipulation. Why is this concerning? Well, first, the president signed an order for the full declassification of materials related to the Kennedy case. And second, that has always pertained, as many people have said, to the MKUltra files. Now, the CIA previously stated that all documents have been published and the rest destroyed. Therefore, this alleged concern that those documents were claimed to have never existed at all. So very troubling indeed, because now they have to send a request to the CIA to preserve the documents, as if they're going to do that. And they contacted the White House and directly reached out to the CIA director. CIA don't care. Clearly, as this situation develops, they're going to try and keep everyone updated. And they say, oh, strange times we're living in. Who's running the country? It must be the CIA, because it's absolutely not the Americans when they can just walk in and take any documents they like that have been released that we're meant to be able to see, and that the President of the United States has turned around and said everybody's allowed to see. but the CIA say no, and they just walk in and help themselves. How can that be right? It just cannot be. It is absolutely staggering. And of course, if you're one of those people like me who gets a bit shocked by that sort of thing, then Robert.
They took the documents because there's references to Israel being responsible for JFK's assassination.
Absolutely. I believe 100%. It's all, when you get the Epstein files and you get everything that's going on, they're documents. Let the people see them. Okay. But when you don't let the people see them, it shows you've got something to hide, whether that be Epstein, whether it be MK Ultra, whether it be John F. Kennedy, whether it be COVID, whether any of those. Okay. You shouldn't be hiding them from the people. And if you are, that's why the people don't trust you. They don't trust you. And eventually they get rid of you because they can't trust you. And it's a horrible thing to say, but you can't trust any government. At this moment in time, you can't trust any government anywhere in the world. And that is really staggering. So I guess we'll just have to trust each other and call the governments to account. Now, the last thing I want to show you is something that you want of every single person. At the age of 102, this Japanese gentleman decided he wanted to take part in a 100-meter sprint race. Have a look at it. What an absolutely fantastic effort. And of course, I don't know how he's going to feel after that. But I do want to say, when I get to 102, if I can still be do that, I will be well chuffed. And the determination to actually do that is quite incredible. I hope you've enjoyed our fairly varied show tonight. It's been wonderful to have Mark Reckle back with us. Mark, thank you so much for joining us and telling us about the things that were going on in Russia and also the videos that you provided for us.
Oh, you're welcome, Warren. Well, as I
I'll
said
keep
before,
sending you the links.
I've travelled across Russia so many times.
Yeah,
I'm getting to actually show you what I've seen. And
well, we've given you a glimpse tonight of Russia, and we'll be doing that more often. We'll also give you a glimpse of Iran and many other countries that you never ever see. And of course, Mark is right out there in Russia, so we'll be linking up with him from time to time. Well, we'll give it, and if he's able to link up to the show and watch it, absolutely great. I know that Mark sometimes gets a little bit where he wants to concentrate on Russia more than the other things that are going on in the world. But it's wonderful to have him here. And of course, it's lovely to have him come and visit, and we hope he's not a stranger. Nilus.
Yeah, it's really nice to hear Mark's voice again. And,
it is.
Thanks a lot for your reporting from Russia, Mark. And I'm looking
oh,
forward
you're welcome.
To, and I'm looking forward to Warren Thornton live from North Korea.
Well, I can't wait. I can't wait. It'll be fantastic. Nilus, thank you very much indeed. And thank you, everybody, including all the people who are watching on the live stream. Thank you for watching the show. We're going to leave you now. If you like what we do, come across and see us, because we normally put only the first hour of the show on, but we wanted to show you the whole show tonight. And of course, we've got a special on Saturday, West Streeting and the NHS, and we'll be talking, of course, to a very, very eminent doctor about that. Thank you, as I say, for watching the live stream, and of course, everybody who's taken part in this show tonight, and also the people who have helped, like Johnny, like Mark, and of course, all the others who have come in with their comments, making it the show that it is. Thanks.